It's about that time. What's goody, what's goody, what's goody. Welcome back to the 76-hour podcast. Thank you for joining us on this fine evening. You are here along with your boy Yeen and now Stacks Jacks. How are you doing tonight, my brother?
Doing good, bro. Chilling. I mean, I'm kind of upset that we ain't get the win, but it happens. In the NBA. Good teams lose to subpar teams from time to time. That's just the nature of the game. So we'll bounce back. So I ain't worried too much about it. But we chilling, bro. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, I ain't really worried too much about it. So it's just basketball for real. So
Most definitely. We are recording live right after the Sixers played the Bulls. We lost in double overtime. I do not have the actual record, or not record, the actual score in front of me, but I think it was like 109 to 105.
pull it
We
up.
had yeah, we had just come off of an 8 game winning streak, most of them on the road. This was the first game back. Tonight's game was honoring, or at least at the Wells Fargo Center, they were honoring the 82-83 championship Sixers team, the last team that won a championship, a basketball championship in this city. So there was a lot of hype surrounding tonight. And from what I saw on the TV screen from my humble home, it was rocking so much so that we definitely went to 2 overtime games. We did lose, but that is the backdrop on what you have tonight. Shout out to my alma mater, the Syracuse Orange. It is indeed March Madness time. One of my favorite times of the year. I'm not sure about you, but Bulls had to throw on the orange cap, even though we are definitely trash currently because we didn't go to the chip, or I'm sorry, to the tournament. But shout out to the Bulls of Syracuse. Hope y'all are staying warm. So we have a full pack show tonight. Before we even continue, let's handle some business. If you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We will be putting out more unique Sixers content as we always do, and we will be dropping a podcast every single week until the 76ers win a championship. So how do you all like that? I know y'all like it so much because that's why we're going to keep on doing it. Okay.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
um. So let's go back to uh the initial talk about the 76ers going on an 8 game win streak before this game. A lot of things have been clicking as of late. It seems as though the stars have aligned for this team to actually play good basketball. The stars are playing like stars, and the role players as well as bench are playing their necessary vital role. So much so that you know TV talk stations are actually starting to, one, give the Sixers respect, and two, actually give Embiid credence for him to become their pick for MVP. Now, I'm not sure about you, but I am not used to the media conglomerate giving Philadelphia and their athletes their just due. So that has been a good thing, or a good change for me. What else was I going to say? In the last 8 games, or post All Star break, the Sixers. I think the Sixers have had the best record in the league since the All Star break. I cannot give you the exact numbers, but I believe we're top 3 in offense, which is also another thing that we do not, or we are not used to. So what are your thoughts on this team dominating the way that they have been? Um, and do you think this is sustainable going into the last, gauntlet schedule? Once again, we actually did lose tonight, but we can just say that we have won 8 out of our last 9 games.
Um, I'm really liking what I see from the Sixers. For the first time, in a while within the Joel Embiid era, it really seems that this team, kind of fits. When Ben Simmons was here playing, the main question was, well, him and Joe don't fit because Ben doesn't shoot and Nick clogs the lane and all this other stuff. But I think Harden complements Embiid's game very well. They have, I think, the most dominant two-man game in the league. Um, and they're playing well as a team. I would like to see them play slightly better when Embiid goes to the bench, but in these last, stretch of games, we've been playing together as a team. D'Anthony Melton on the defensive end, he's being a beast. Like even tonight, he had like I think like 3 or 4 steals,
Mm.
late in the game too. Um, Everybody's playing their role. Paul Reed is stepping up. Maxey is stepping up when he needs to, and James Harden is excelling as a facilitator. Even though you still would like to see him be a little bit more aggressive, like in this game when Embiid fouled out. But overall, I mean, it seems like we're clicking on all cylinders and people can't even say that y'all had an easy schedule. It's like, no, like this is I think we had like one of the most hardest schedules, well, remaining
The
schedules.
hardest
Yeah,
schedule remaining, right?
yeah, to end the regular season. So, um, I really like how everybody's playing well, everybody's playing together, everybody playing a role. So, it does make me excited, but I'm not going to get my hopes up too much because I do have to see how we're going to play in the playoffs. But, um, it just seems like our chemistry is, really starting to show like how good our chemistry is, and that was an issue I think, in the playoffs last year when Harden came in mid-season, everybody's still trying to figure out who does what. Um, but last year in the playoffs, we addressed in the off season after the playoff run, well, after the playoff loss against Miami, we assessed what we needed, and we needed toughness, we needed a better bench, and we upgraded those necessary areas. I do think I mean, there always still is room for improvement, but being that we did address those areas, I think that it's starting to show. And it's really making me feel confident that we can be the team to beat in the East. It really makes me feel confident that we can eventually beat Boston in the 7-game series. Um, is like, and everybody just has to continue doing what they've been doing. Just keep playing a role. Don't do too much. Play within the system, and that's what they've been doing. And I think that's the reason why we were able to win 8 games straight. Unfortunately, we fell short tonight, but like I was saying before, that's just basketball. I mean, we seen the Magic beat the Celtics how many times this year? You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
like
So
two or
like
three times.
exactly. So I mean,
Mm.
it's like it's basketball that that's still like the Chicago Bulls, even though they're not a great team, those are still professional basketball players. And just like how in football they say any given Sunday, it's
Mm.
the same thing in basketball, and that's why March Madness is called March Madness because the best team
You
doesn't
never know.
always win.
Mm.
So it's just like you got to be on your A game. But like I said, I'm not really worried about it because in the playoffs, we're going to have a 7-game series. So um, yeah, I mean, overall, I really like what I'm seeing from this team. We're playing together. Seems like Doc is really starting to figure it out. And I do think that it's sustainable within the playoffs as long as we keep doing what we're doing, playing defense and playing together. So, yeah, I really like what I'm seeing.
So you brought up Doc Rivers, Coach Glenn Doc Rivers. I still don't call him Doc. I feel as though I was like one of the main first people in the city to stop calling him Doc and like
I feel
started
like I
call
feel like I feel like you never called him Doc.
bro. I'm telling you, dog. Al- always call boy Glenn. Like always
You
call
just
boy
don't like
Glenn.
Doc Rivers.
It's not that, but like I feel as though he ain't earned that. Nick earned that nickname, and I feel as though he had to prove it to me because ain't no way. Because apparently that name was given to him as a because he was being compared to Dr. J.
Really?
And yeah, there was
I
some
never
story
knew
like
that.
he was in a summer camp as a young point guard, and he was playing so well that like the not the leader of the camp saw his game and was like, "Oh wow, like you're playing like Dr. J." So they just called him Doc Rivers from there.
I never knew that,
Uh,
bro. That's crazy. You can't like, that's kind of
they ain't got no Doc
that's
Rivers.
what I'm
Like
saying, like, you comparing Dr. J to like that's kind of insulting, low key. Like that's I
Like I
never knew
said,
that. I never knew that. That's
first
crazy.
bull to call him Glenn Rivers, his actual God given name. So I would like some credit out there in the Philadelphia sports universe. But you brought him up, and we have to be fair because um, he has been coaching the Sixers very well this year. My thing is, if we're going to get mad at him when we lose, we should at least give him some positive affirmations when he is doing well. We can't be hypocritical in that aspect. Um, I would say that this year, Glenn Doc, coach, has been making the Sixers more, or I'll just say, put into put in the fire to their butt. If anything, I've like seen him drop some actual decent plays this year. Like everyone
Yeah,
has been saying, Doc cannot cook. The boy don't like know how to draw up, screens XYZ coming out of timeouts.
mhm,
Um, I don't believe that's necessarily true because even tonight, like I remember it was like the fourth quarter or like the end of the first overtime. We're down by three, and he drew up a play for Tyrese to get a three at the top of the key. Real
yeah,
quick, and speaking of Tyrese, I'm like going on a tangent, which I do if y'all haven't peeped. But I'm loving the fact, and like this still ties into like Glenn Doc too. It's because
yeah,
he's trusting Maxi with the ball at the end of the games. Of course, based off of history, you are more used to seeing James Harden with the ball. But honestly, I enjoyed seeing Tyrese with the joint game on the line and his shots making
facts.
the actual outcome of if we win or lose. We didn't win, but he definitely still kept us in the game. And I feel as though like as I've been always saying this year, Maxi, I believe is going to be the key come playoff time. Because like of course, if Embiid doesn't play well, if James doesn't play well, we ain't doing nothing. Like hands down. But I feel as though if Maxi is locked in and like he can drop like what 25, 26, 30 a game,
Exactly.
that's gonna be what wild, bro.
You can be a problem, bro.
It's
You can be a
so
problem.
So uh, you have to give credence to Glenn for seeing that and allowing that to occur. But we do know we can say all this good stuff, but we do know in the playoffs he does not coach well. It always comes crashing down.
I feel you.
Always. He has the most chokes in like what 3-1 leads in like NBA history. So we know who the boy is. We know because we saw him and Ben and Tobias and everyone else and Joe too. Fine, the actual whole team choked that Hawks series. So I want to know if the Sixers do not get out of the second round, is Glenn Doc Rivers still the coach of this team next season?
Um, I think that the Sixers are probably going to go into a different direction. Me personally, like I'm very indifferent about Doc Rivers. Like I don't hate him. Like I'm not. I know a lot of Philly fans hate Doc Rivers. They can't stand him. And like I don't really feel that way. I mean, I do think that he is a good coach. I understand that it's been over a decade since he's won a championship, but he does have a lot of experience. But he does have a like you said, he has blown a whole lot of 3-1 leads. Although as devastating as it was when we lost to the Hawks, I can't put that on Doc Rivers because Ben Simmons refused to shoot in the fourth quarter, and he's your main ball handler. Like that's you know what I mean. Like you like and you, I don't even want to. That's a whole nother conversation. But like that's a whole nother
Yo,
discussion.
real
But
quick though, Ben, I'm sorry, Ben
yeah,
isn't even like
he's
he,
really a bum,
him and
bro.
Clutch, yo, bro, like him and like Clutch decided to like part ways. That's
That's
wild, bro, because
crazy,
that's
bro.
basically saying like,
You're a
yeah,
bum.
you're a bum, bro. Like we don't even want you anymore, even though we like basically aided you in putting you in this space.
His
Not
career
saying that
over.
like it was all Clutch fault, because like Ben is a man, but like
Yeah.
Clutch definitely played a role in that nut-ish, and they're just saying, yeah, we're
He's
like
not good
good,
for the
bro.
brand. He ain't good for the, you know what I
That's
mean? He,
crazy, bro. That's
bro,
crazy. But go
wow.
ahead.
But yeah, so yeah, Ben's probably never going to be a starter anymore. But we can get into that in a different podcast episode. But
Damn it, Ben. Damn it, Ben.
but yeah, like I mean, I do think he has a lot to prove in the playoffs, like with his coaching. But I
Mm-hmm.
do think with this team, I think this is the best team that we have had in the Joel Embiid era, across the board. I mean, I'm willing to put this team over the Jimmy Butler Sixers only because I feel like with this team it's a better fit than because even they still had Ben Simmons and you're still playing 4-on-5 basketball
Mm-hmm.
on offense. So I think he has uh a new array of talent to work with this upcoming playoff run. So, but if we don't get it out the second round, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing a change in scenery, um, and seeing if a change in coaching can potentially do us justice. Then, if that doesn't work, then we may have to have a discussion about blowing everything up. But, um, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing a new coach, and if we don't make it out this second round, like I don't love Doc Rivers, I don't hate him either, but I mean, if we don't get out the second round, I mean, we have all this talent, and I mean, like we have a perennial all-star slash MVP candidate, for the past 3 years. Um, it's gotta happen. We have the
Mm-hmm.
talent. We literally have the talent to compete with any team in the Eastern Conference. It's just a matter of putting all the pieces together and bringing it to fruition and execute. That's really what it boils down to. It's like the Sixers beating the Celtics isn't a discussion of do we have enough talent. We do. We have enough talent to beat really any team in the league for real, for real. It's just a
And
matter of like we gotta put it together, and that's the coach's job. It's the coach's job to take what he has and say, okay, this is the set I'm going to run. This is what we're going to do on offense. This is what we're going to do in clutch situations. And so far, especially within these last week of games, Doc has done a really good job. But like I said, even though I'm very excited that the Sixers are doing very well, I really have to see how we do in the playoffs, especially in the second round, because we always get past the first round, and I think we will. Whether it's like 4 or 5 games, depending on who we play, but yeah, I just think that Doc does have a whole lot to prove, but I mean, so far, it's so good. So I have to give him his flowers and, what I'm saying, give him credit where it's due. So, but you know what I mean? Like if we don't make it out this second round, then, sometimes change is good. You know what I'm saying? So we may have to get somebody else in and, switch up the scenery a little bit. So yeah, we just gotta wait and see.
I wouldn't necessarily say that it's time to blow it up if we don't make it out the second round, just because if we blow it up, then like we're not getting back to the second round. Uh,
No, like you
allegedly.
No, like what I was saying, so like if we don't make out the second round, I think we should change coaches. And then if we don't make it out the second round again with the new coach, then I'm like,
Oh, okay. All right.
maybe. Like it like depends. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think it's I don't think it's as black and white as
Uh,
oh well, if we don't make it out the second round with the new coach, like blow it up because context matters. You know what I'm saying? So
uh,
it really depends how we go out.
okay.
Do we
All
have
right.
any injuries? Like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it anything can happen. So we'll cross that bridge when or if we get there. You know what I'm
I was
saying?
going to say, just like hypothetically, if we do, let's say, well, whatever. I'm gonna just say with Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, something can occur. I
Yeah.
feel as though if we don't have Maxi, then maybe it actually might be time to blow it up, unfortunately. But Maxi saved the franchise. So I wouldn't necessarily blow it up. I would, well, obviously, whatever. The whole context
Wait,
matters. But
so wait,
having
so
those two. Mhm,
So let me ask you this. So like if like we don't make it out this second round this year and let's say the year after that,
mhm.
well, either of those years, do you think it gets to a point where Joel Embiid is like, yo, like I don't want to play here no more because we keep losing, like trade me. Like,
It
do you
might.
think he may request a trade or something like that?
It very well might occur, and if that happens, then yeah, it would have to be blown up,
I was like,
since he
I
is
would
the
be so
guy.
mad, bro.
Right. So it depends
I
on
don't
that.
want to watch basketball.
I honestly don't have him going out like that, especially if
I
we
hope
don't
not.
go out like suckers. If we go out like suckers, then might then like maybe
Mm.
can't even put it past them. But if we're like actually like doing actual good fight, all that means is like we're just like one step closer or like one step away. Meaning that we just have to keep on tankering to get over that hump. Now, if we regress, then like fine, sure. But I don't think necessarily it's the smart, like it's hard enough to win a championship to begin with. It's hard enough to win playoff series to begin with. If we're right there each year with a guy and room to like still improve, it's not as if we like reached our ceiling per se. Then I would just keep it. If he wants to like stay. If he doesn't, then whatever.
I
But since
feel
we're
you.
talking about hypotheticals of his team, do you believe that this is the Sixers' best chance and final chance in their championship window to win an actual ring? Looking back at the team the last 5 years, like we've actually had like a real good championship window all the way back to like Ben's rookie year. Even though it like wasn't the best, we still had a chance to actually make some noise in the playoffs if things went our way, health to begin with. Um, but we've always been there. A lot of teams cannot say that like they even had the chance. For example, and I would rather be them right now, but Toronto, right? They like got their ring, and since then they like really haven't been that much work. Um, at the very least, we've stayed consistent to where we at least make the playoffs. But I will admit that this is the best team within the Joel Embiid era to win a ring. So, with everything going on with the team and people may not coming back next, may not, mm, and the rumors that like some folks with a beard may not come back next year if we do not pass the second round. Do you believe that this is the final um, time or the best chance for the Sixers to win a chip with Joel Embiid at the helm? And if we don't win, will we ever win a championship? Assuming Embiid stays long term.
That's a good question. I think that well, I definitely think that this is one of I think this is one of our best chances to win the championship. With the East, the way that it's structured now, I mean, I feel like, the teams now are pretty much gonna have similar records for like the next 1 to 2 years, maybe three. With Mitchell in Cleveland and Tatum and Brown in Boston and Giannis is probably going to be in Milwaukee for the rest of his career. Those are like the top teams in the East.
Hmm.
And I feel like I was saying before, we have the talent to go up against either of those teams. But if Harden were to leave after this year, if we don't, make it out the second round and or win the championship, I wouldn't say that our chances of winning a chip is going to be gone because if Harden leaves, that opens up the door for us to, you know, attract more, role players and so like I mean like we probably won't have like another James Harden type player, but that gives a chance for Tyrese Maxey to then take another step forward to really, progress his game. And then we can just, get pieces in free agency, maybe do some trades, and now we have more money to, still continue to build a championship caliber team. Like I look at Milwaukee, their second best player, Chris Middleton, is coming off the bench because of injury, and Chris Middleton hasn't really even been playing that well this this year. And the Bucks are the number one seed, and that's because they have the role players, the Bobby Portises, the Grayson Allens of the world. You know what I mean? And they build around Giannis, and it works, and they're still the number one seed. I feel like we can do the same thing even if we were to lose Harden. We're not going to have a Harden type talent, but we can have like a good, 2 to 3 guys, whether they're starters or coming off the bench, that can really contribute to this team. And that's going to be on Daryl Morey to find who those players may be to keep that championship hope alive. But I think, to answer your question, if we will ever win a championship in the Joel Embiid era, um, that's a tough question, but I honestly think that we can, bro. I honestly think that we can. Like, I don't think that we'll be a dynasty in terms
Mm-hmm.
of, like the Warriors and winning like, 3 or 4 chips in 7 years, but I really see us squeezing out, one chip, out of this run. And I really think it's possible, bro. Like, I mean, we've surrounded Joel Embiid with a lot of good players, and this is the best team he has had since he's been in Philly. And being that, we have one of the best GMs in the game in Daryl Morey, like, I don't see him just being like, oh, Harden's going, okay, let's just throw in the towel. Like, no, like, I think
Right.
he'll do what he has to do to build a championship caliber team. Um, so I think that realistically, uh, in like after this year, I think we have a good 2 to 3 years
Mm-hmm.
to chase the chip. I think Joel turned 29 this year, so in 3 years he'll be 32. So that's still kind of young. Um, but I really think that these next 2 to 3 years is a legit championship window for us. And I really think that we can win the championship in one of these next 3 years. Um, if not this season. And yeah, like I, think that the Sixers know what's at stake. I mean, from being that we tank games on purpose, they know that this franchise
That's your
is hungry
favorite line, bro. That's your
because, bro,
favorite line.
like
We
we
we lost games
because
on purpose.
because you got teams out here that's just ass because they actually are ass. We was ass on purpose. We said we gonna chalk all these games. Like, I remember like one season we was like 10-72.
72, bro.
Like,
Yeah.
we had went through the Isaiah Cannons, the Ish
Mm.
Smiths of the world, the Jakar Sampsons of the world. You know what I
Jakar
mean?
Sampson. Facts.
The Hollis Thompsons of the world.
Who was a boy? Yo, I used to fry with him on 2K, bro. He was a bucket. He was like a poor man's Clay
I
in
mean,
in the game.
oh, alright,
In
alright,
the game, he
alright.
was a bucket,
In the
bro. In the game, he was
game.
a bucket.
But
A
yeah,
bucket. That
bro,
was like 2K, like what? 14?
something like that. Yeah, like
Mm,
this franchise has, been through a lot, and everybody knows what's at stake. So even if we were to win one championship, of course, I would like us to win multiple. But even if we win one, I think that'll do a lot for Sixer fans to be like, yeah, I mean, we wanted to win we wanted to win multiple, but at least we got something out of the
mhm.
process, instead of, oh, well, we made it to this second round, or we got to the conference finals one time, or whatever the case may be. But the thing is, bro, we have the talent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
it's
I
time.
mean, like in 2001 when we lost to the Lakers, we didn't have the talent. I mean, we just had Allen Iverson and a lot of good defensive players. Where they had Shaq and Kobe, one of the best, if not the best duo of all time. Like, we didn't
Rick
have enough
Fox,
talent.
Derek Fisher,
They were
Robert
stacked.
Horry. Yeah,
Like, they were stacked, and we did not have enough talent, and we stole a game from them, and we gave them their only playoff loss that entire season. So, which was, cool. But I mean, you can't really get mad at the Sixers for losing. I mean, that's Shaq and Kobe. But
right.
like
Prime
with
Shaq and Code.
exactly. So
Right.
with this year we have the talent. It's like, it's not like it's just Joel Embiid and we don't got nobody else. We have Maxi, we have Harden, and even Tobias Harris has his moments. You know what I'm saying? So like, we have players, we have talent, we have personnel, we have good coaching. You know what I'm saying? So like, I just feel like eventually a lot of that stuff has to pay dividend, and we have to really go out there and show, why we're, a top seed in the Eastern Conference. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's time, bro. And honestly, like I mean, I'm not going to say I wouldn't be surprised if we won. I mean, if we won the championship this year, because I kind of would be. But I mean, listen, it's possible. Like it's not an outlandish statement to say, oh, I think the Sixers are going to win the chip this year. I mean, it's possible. We
Mm.
have the talent. You know what I mean? Like that's not an outlandish statement. So I mean, we just gotta find a way to put it together and, by this win streak that we had, you
That we
know
had.
but, yeah, like, it seems that we're able to put it together, so it's just a matter of can we, and that's still yet to be seen, so,
I've
yeah.
always said that like this is the year that's championship or bust, that it has to be done now or it will never be done. I don't think moving forward our championship window will be done. It'll
Yeah,
be more closed, I guess, it's because you
that's
like
fair.
don't have a James Harden helping out. But if you have Joel Embiid and healthy Joel Embiid, who is a top 3 player in the league, your window is never closed. And once again, just having Maxi and his resurgence, that's not the right word, but his
I see what
emergence,
you mean, yeah.
it definitely just like creates more possibilities moving forward. So yeah,
Facts.
it'll be interesting and fun and dramatic to see.
And yeah.
Um,
And
but
like and plus if Harden does leave, somebody needs to talk to Damian Lillard in Portland and be like, listen, bro, you ain't winning shit over there. You might as well take your ass, come across the country, play in Philly. Like stop all this. I wanna win you ain't winning shit in Portland, bro. Respectfully.
I think
He not
I think
winning,
he's like
bro.
staying though. Eh,
They're not
maybe
going to
not.
attract no free
Who
agents.
knows?
He not winning nothing in Portland, bro. I'm sorry, he not. And you
That's fair.
and
No,
and
I
you
agree.
and you know he not.
Yeah, oh yeah, heck no. Best chance was when they went to the conference finals and they got smacked. I think against the
Yeah,
Dubs.
exactly.
So I agree. But I think that is the best thing to end it on. I want to thank everybody for pulling up and listening to the pod. We appreciate y'all so much. We will be back next week for more unique Sixers content from a black male perspective. How about that? I hope everybody has a good
Yeah.
week, and we will talk to y'all next Monday. I believe that's the schedule. Have fun, stay safe, and I hope y'all enjoy the rest of the March Madness games. We will talk to y'all late. We, yeah. We will talk to y'all later. Stay fly.